All right, welcome back to another episode of the Post Purchase Podcast. I'm here with a very special guest today, Yulia Blinova, CEO and founder of Zignify. Yulia, tell us a little bit about where you began and how did you start this amazing company that you've been running for a couple years now. We were talking a little bit before the show, and you said you have all this wonderful experience, so I can't wait to dive in. Yulia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry that people are not looking at you because I'm technologically challenged, but that's okay. I have other advantages like product sourcing.
There you go.
So I myself, I've started Zignify Global Product Sourcing around about 2 years ago. This, of course, happened due to the pandemic. A lot of my old customers, they started coming back and saying, "Oh my God, we have problems. We don't know what to do. All the factories in China are closed. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yulia, help us." And this is how it pretty much went. There were so many people coming to me, and we decided, well, I had to hire the first people. So in 2 years, the company grew from me alone to currently almost 50 people, all women, except my husband and partner, who is the only guy. He enjoys the attention, of course. In general, if I talk about myself, I have almost 18 years of experience when it comes to product sourcing, supply chain, category management,
Yeah.
Amazon as well. Not 18 years, but what, 8, 9 by now. And I used to live in Asia. I lived in China for 9 years. And then I lived in Singapore for a few years. And then me and my better half, we did a motorcycle ride from Singapore to Germany in 8 months. And whilst doing that, we were still working and we were developing our own Amazon products and Shopify stores and receiving samples all over the world, which I was in charge of. So yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So Yulia, you said you've been in the sourcing world for 17 years or more. How did you get into that first of all, and then what led you to live in China?
Well, originally I'm actually Russian. Don't hold that against me. Bad Putin, no good. No war, all peace. Yeah, I've been living outside of Russia since 2005, and I moved when I just turned 17. I graduated from high school, and I moved to study in a British university in China. I had an option between going to China and going to UK to study. I decided to go with China because I thought the future is after China rather than the
Yeah.
UK, which turned out pretty good for me. Yeah, and back then I was working as an English teacher. I'm sorry for all of my students. And at the same time, I wanted to develop in some other areas. And back then, all of the Russians, they worked pretty much in purchasing there. I went a little bit of a different way. I never worked for a Russian company. I decided to start working with international companies because they treated their employees better. And that's pretty much how it went. I always did a little bit of freelancing. And later on, I worked for such companies as Light in the Box and Mini in the Box. I even had an offer from Alibaba itself.
Oh, amazing. So Yulia, fast forward all that experience later, you leave Russia, you've lived in China, now you're living in Germany. So it sounds like
Yeah.
you've moved all around and you've got all this experience, but about 2 years ago, you decide to start this company Zignify to help people
Yeah.
with their product sourcing. So tell us a little bit about why you founded this company and what you guys do that's different than other companies out there.
Well, initially the name Zignify, I wanted to start my own Amazon business because my husband had his own Amazon business. And actually this logo I created and I wanted to use it for my products. Back in the day, this was maybe about 5 years ago, I was looking into selling felt products, right? Made out of felt and all of that stuff. It never came to fruition because I got a full-time job very high up. I was a managing director for a very big startup here in Germany. I was very much tired of flying to Moscow every Monday and coming back to Munich every Friday for a whole year.
Yeah.
So I decided enough is enough. I quit. I decided to do the whole I'm gonna meditate and yoga, that kind of thing. That didn't really work for me. This is too calm. And I decided that I might as well earn some money. I mean, I was comfortable and all of that, but might as well earn some money. And this is how it started. And people just saw that there is an advantage to the way we do things because we don't work like not all, but all of the sourcing companies that I know, they are not absolutely 100% transparent with their customers. They never give out the information about who your supplier is. And when you don't know who makes your products, when you don't know where the factory is located, this gives you zero control over what is happening. We work in a very different way. We have an absolute and complete transparency, and we only work on an hourly base. So our customers spend way less money, short period of time, long period of time, way less in comparison to other sourcing companies. Our other advantage is we do product sourcing globally. Most of the companies, they focus on a particular category of products and country, right? Go to Turkey and we only do Turkey.
Right.
We don't do that. Our customers from all over the world, they come to us, they say, I would like to produce this, hair scrunchie, right? And we say, where do you sell? Who is your target market? What are the prices that you want? What certification do you require? What marketing USPs do you have? When you provide us this information, we can tell you which market is the best one for you to produce your product at, because it's not always China, it's not always Vietnam, it's not always Mexico. There are tons of other countries out there who can be amazing in producing your products. So these are some of the advantages. Plus, we speak 20 plus languages. For some of you listeners, they might have done sourcing, let's say in Mexico or in Poland or in France. When you do not speak the local language, when you do not understand local traditions, this is slow and painful and horrible. So we try to understand not only the people who we're talking to on the other side, but also the traditions of the country, when it's better to contact them, why, and all of those things. And plus, we speak the local language, which is important.
I love it. So Yulia, you probably speak a few languages yourself, right? You were an English teacher. You you live in Germany. You were born in Russia, so you're bringing your flair to the sourcing business, and you guys have a completely different model, which I love. That you don't charge, you're not upcharging your customers. You're just charging them for the work that you're actually doing, which is completely different than how other people operate. So how did you get that idea to set it up in terms of, we are your agent, but we're going to charge you on the work that we're doing, not on the quantity that you're buying?
Look, from me, this all comes from if I were to use someone's services, in my personal opinion, if I think this is fair or not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we are right or we are wrong, but in my opinion, pretty much the only people that I would give commission to are the salespeople, right? I don't think, in my opinion, I would not pay if I were to use a sourcing service. I would not use a sourcing service that has a commission that doesn't give me access to the factories. For me, it came very, very natural, because this is what I would do. This is what I would want to see. And you know what I say? Maybe we won't earn hundreds of millions, but just tens of millions are also okay. Because we are providing better work environment for our ladies. We hire people from all over the globe. We have people from China, from Germany, who live in Jakarta, for example. She just gave birth to a baby. We have Russian people who live in Costa Rica. We have Ukrainians who live in Germany. So, and we provide salaries that are a lot higher in their home countries and are on a good level. We do team meetings. Our next team meeting is a 10-day vacation in Bali. We're flying in like 20 or 25 people, not the whole team, because they all need to qualify for this and be in the company for a certain period of time. But our main job is, yes, we want to make some money, but we also want to provide good environment for our people. And at the same time, we want to give opportunity to smaller businesses to have the opportunity to develop. I think we have currently about 5 projects where the customers are nurses, teachers, and I think one car mechanic as well. Amazing. They can afford us. Yeah. They have awesome ideas. They won't be able to afford any other company, and all the other companies, they do not lead them through all of the processes. My goal is that we don't only provide the service to our customers, but we teach them in the process as well. So they learn new things and they can understand what the hell is going on around them.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you are all about transparency because as a business owner who's trying to grow, my business, it sure gives me a lot more value that I know who my factory is. I have you guys on my team to help negotiate with the factory. Overall, my business is much more sound because we're always building our businesses to sell. And so when I sit down to sell my business and they say, okay, who are your suppliers for your products? If I don't know, and I just say I use this sourcing company, that's not a very good position to be in. So you guys are all about transparency, which I love. Yulia, so what are you seeing out there right now in terms of blind spots or mistakes that sellers are making? Our audience is predominantly Amazon sellers who are building their own brands and sourcing the products themselves. So what are you seeing out there that a typical seller who is doing product sourcing, where are they making a mistake right now?
Mm. First, to also tell you, we are also typical sellers. We have two brands. We launched first brands in 2014. I
Yeah.
gave this to my better half because he was very annoying. He had 6 weeks vacation because he did like overtime. So he needed something to do, not annoy me. So I found Amazon FBA. That's how it all started in 2014. We launched our second brand about a year ago. We sell in Europe. So we know all of the pitfalls. We work with tons of Amazon sellers, the beginners and the ones who make 200 million per year.
Yeah.
So we've seen it all. The problem that I see is the amount of manufacturers. The first big problem is the amount of manufacturers with whom the sellers are actually having the communication with. A lot of these guys and girls, they come to us like, oh my God, I've been at it for 6 hours and I have nothing. I'm like, oh, come on. For example, like we divide the world in two. It's China and the rest of the world, ROW. In China, on average, for one private label product, we get in touch with about 30 manufacturers. Outside of China, it's 60, right? And on those numbers, on those values, we're able to get what our customer actually needs. So yes, contact more manufacturers, be more detail oriented. On a lot of occasions, we see that when the customers come to us, they're like, they take a white piece of paper with a hand drawing on it, show me in the camera, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, we can. But you know what? In order to get the exact pricing, we need to do a tech pack. If you want help, we can help with the tech pack. That's absolutely not a problem. So the sellers need to be as detail oriented as possible. The more information they will collect, the easier it will be, whether for a sourcing company or if they're doing it themselves, for the suppliers to provide the information to them that they require. And persistence and perseverance. Amazon is not an easy business to be in. It has its big ups and big downs. So perseverance and having a group of people with whom you're communicating and kind of sharing and pumping each other up
Yeah.
is very important. So yeah. Oh, and one rule. This is like I love this one. When you're communicating with the manufacturer, never tell them that you're the boss of the company. Always tell them that we're a company. I'm maybe not one person, but maybe we're two or three people, and I have a boss and stuff like this. Because you need to make sure that you find that bond with the person on the other side, because that person is an employee.
Yeah.
And if you connect on that level, this person is more likely to help you out to get to where you want. So you can always say, my boss has been such a beep today. I'm afraid he's gonna fire me or something like this. It works. It really works.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
and
great advice.
research your opponent as well. We love to get through Instagrams, WeChat, and all of those things to see who you're talking to and if you can connect on a more personal level.
I
Yeah,
love it,
those
Yulia.
are just some.
I love your entire approach. I love that you're so transparent. I love that you're actually in the trenches helping sellers every day. You're a seller yourself. So I think
Yeah.
that if you guys need any help with your product sourcing around the world, I'd really urge
Um,
you to go and talk with Yulia at Zignify. We're going to talk to you
yeah.
about how to find out more about what you guys are doing here in a moment. But Yulia, for now, as we move into the last part of our show, we have a couple questions that are fun that we like to
Mhm.
ask. First and foremost, Yulia, do you have any favorite business books
Honestly, I prefer to read not business books,
yeah,
but books
or
for
podcasts
entertainment.
or anything like that?
Sorry?
Or podcasts or blogs, any place where you get business ideas.
I like to listen to different NPR podcasts, that's for
Okay.
sure. But I think if we're talking books specifically, one of my favorite books, this was The Blue Ocean. That's for
The Blue
sure.
Ocean. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, a friend of ours gave it to us ages ago when we were still living in Beijing. So it was me, the Russian, my boyfriend, the German, and another Finnish guy, and he gave it to us as a present. And I read to it, and I'm like, wow, So the Blue Ocean, it's an oldie but a goodie for sure.
Yeah,
So I
for
would go
sure.
with that one.
Well, and you are a representation of that. And what's really interesting is the whole ocean doesn't have to be blue, but there can be a pocket where there's. And for those of you who don't know, the blue ocean concept is about finding where there's not comparable competition, and what you have is not comparable to a lot of other sourcing companies out there. So I think you have your own little blue ocean, right? So that's amazing.
Yeah. There is
So
no actually other company like us out there.
yeah,
Who works on this particular in this particular way. So yeah, we're a blue ocean or a pocket of air in the blue ocean that's
yes,
floating
you are.
up.
All right, Yulia. So our last fun question here is, in business we work for money. Money's kind of the scoreboard for a lot of people, but sometimes you can spend money and have a lot of fun. What's something that you've purchased that was maybe a splurge for you, but you don't regret spending the money because you really enjoy it?
A motorcycle.
You got a motorcycle. That's amazing.
I'm a motorcycle chick, if that's the proper.
What kind
uh,
of motorcycle?
I have a BMW F650 GS.
I love it.
So we love motorcycles. We have three. My better half, he has two. One kind of adventurer and one sports one. And
Yeah.
I don't want sports on my back. With my age, it's already hurts on his bike. But yeah, motorcycle. It wasn't that expensive. It wasn't that cheap. But this is something that I really enjoy. And over the weekends, we can go into the Alps. And yeah, like my better half right now, I splurged for him for his birthday for a present. I sent him to Morocco for 6 days for a desert off-road trip. On day one, he broke his leg. So next year we're gonna go together. So he's slower.
Yeah, you should have went with him because I did get the email saying that Sebastian's in the hospital.
So at least he's back in Germany. They transported him, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, better care in Germany, I'm sure. So, Yulia, as we wrap up the show, where can people find out more about you and also more about Zignify if they need help with product sourcing?
Yeah. Well, if they're watching the video, they can. Where am I going? They can scan the QR code, which
Uh-huh.
is a call with us, or they can go onto the website, which is I can never do this. Zignify.net. Yeah. So chick for picture, and
There you go.
yeah, we're available. We work on many different time zones. Again, we have customers from literally Panama to New Zealand. So we have kind of a 24-hour cycle. That's why even on our Google it says open 24/7.
So Zignify is Zignify.net. Check out Yulia and see what they can do. I've never heard of a model like this. Like you said, you're the only sourcing company out there that has this model, and I appreciate your approach. I really appreciate having you on today, Yulia, and I want to thank you and look forward to hosting you on a future webinar. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you as well.
Thank you, Yulia. We'll talk soon.